Okay, so we're going to go over one more type of problem called the chi-square. And what the chi-square does is look at frequencies presented in table form. And we're going to compare frequencies observed versus those expected. But let's say you were given this table here. It catalogs the frequencies which ask the question, do instructors offer valuable information in their courses? And we have here the observed study frequencies for this actual example. So let's say we have three instructors, A, B, and C, you can see across the top, and the three rows going down. And then students in each of their classes could respond by saying, is their class very valuable, somewhat valuable, a little valuable, class not valuable at all. Okay, and then you can see how the numbers actually pan out. Now, let's say you were only given the frequencies that are presented there in black. Okay, the observed frequencies. So then what you'd have to do is create your totals. So you would actually have to add another row and another row at the bottom and another column on the right for your totals. So in order to get those numbers marked in blue, you just add up the frequencies. So for example, 89 plus 72 plus 103 gives you 264. That's your total row for the class very valuable. Okay? For class somewhat valuable, you would just add up 95 plus 84 plus 162, which gives you 241. You can also add up your columns, your rows going down. So for instructor A, you can see his or her frequencies going down, 89, 95, 65, and 41 add up to 290. So you want to get up your row and column totals and then get your grand total for the entire study, which is 816, seen there in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so those are your observed frequencies, including your totals, okay, across the board. Okay, now that you have your totals, both in your rows and your columns, you want to create your expected frequencies based on those totals. So you have to recreate the entire table. Okay, so you can see here we still have the same categories, instructors A, B, and C, and then the options class very valuable all the way down to not valuable at all. Now you'll notice in the observed frequencies we have the totals marked in blue. So what you want to do is recreate that table with your expected frequencies just for the totals. So across the bottom row you would start out with 290, 279, 247 for a total of 816. Okay, and then you also have your totals going down that column, right? 264, 241, 188, and 123, those also add up to 216. Now let's assume all those numbers in green are not there yet, so we have to figure out how to get them. Alright, so under instructor A for class very valuable, you have the number 93.8. And the way we get that is we take 290 times 264 and divide it by 816. So you can see we're going across the rows and columns in order to get that number. The total for instructor A is 290 and the total for class very valuable is 264. We multiply those, divide by the grand total of 816, and get the expected frequency of 93.8 for that number in the upper left-hand corner. Likewise, if we want to get the number for the cell right below that, we take the instructor A's grand total of 290 and multiply it by the total for class somewhat valuable, which is 241. So 290 times 241 divided by the grand total of 816 gives you 85.6. Let's say we wanted to get the total for this cell right here, which as you can see says 56.9. Okay, so we take the grand total for instructor C, which is 247, and multiply it by the grand total of class a little valuable, which is 188. So 247 times 148, and always divide by your grand total of 816, and that gives you 56.9. Okay? For the cell that has 42.1, the grand total the total for instructor B is 279 times your total of not valuable at all of 123. So 279 times 123 divided by your grand total of 816 gives you 42.1. Okay? So basically you have to do 12 different calculations in order to get those 12 numbers that are labeled in green, and those are your frequencies expected based on your row and column totals. Okay, so we have now these two tables established: the frequencies observed in the actual study and those expected based on our row and column totals. And now we're going to compare those in order to get what's called our chi-square figure.